Cloud computing for many organizations represents a tremendous opportunity. However, there are many challenges that still need to be addressed before it can really become the success many IT managers are hoping for. For example, standards, security, and interoperability are aspects that play an important role for almost any organization when it comes to building a cloud environment. Together with partners such as CERN, the Center for Nuclear Research, Intel is working on developing ways to cope with challenges like these and to make cloud computing widely useful and safe. In addition, Intel is supporting initiatives like the newly formed Open Data Center Alliance, and together with industry partners has started the so-called Intel Cloud Builders Program, a resource pool where companies can find information and practical advice right up to architecture blueprints on how to set up or enhance a cloud infrastructure. The following interviews feature key speakers from Intel, CERN, and the Open Data Center Alliance and their views regarding cloud computing in general, the cooperation between Intel and CERN, and the initiatives mentioned before. What trends do you see in EMEA in the client computing area, data center computing area with regards to cloud computing?
I'm in this industry 25 years, and for me this is one of the largest inflection curves that we have in the industry. This is going to change the way we use IT to be able to enhance our business moving forward. Currently there's about 1.6 billion people connected to the internet. We believe that by 2015 there'll be 2.6 billion people connected to the internet. So we're going to see a dramatic growth in data and data consumption as a result of more and more people being connected, more consumers getting access to the internet. And as well as that, of course, is businesses growing and expanding to be able to meet the needs of the future opportunities that present themselves in the market. So as a result, let me answer that in two ways. Number one, from a data center perspective, we're going to see a dramatic growth in performance requirements over the next number of years. And as a result, we're going to see data centers obviously having to meet the needs of the increase in data and performance requirements needed by the consumer or by business. So as a result, in working with customers around Europe, Middle East and Africa, we're seeing them looking at the data center and looking at the performance requirements, looking at the value that they bring to their businesses, and looking at such areas such as energy efficiency, and looking at maintaining a particular cost envelope that allows them to be competitive. So we're going to see a continuous level of refresh in the data center to be able to meet the needs. On the client side, we're going to see the client computing environment moving from a product-centric environment to a user-centric environment. And we're going to see many users having multiple clients to be able to meet the needs of their particular businesses moving forward. So as a result, we're going to see a tremendous growth in the adoption and usage of hardware as cloud computing matures.
How will this impact the spending, the IT spending of companies?
There's going to be a continuous level of pressure and spending. It's what you spend it on and why you spend it on. But one of the phenomena associated with cloud, as people begin to understand that what's happening with cloud computing, is that very much it's going to be process orientated, business orientated. In some cases today what we have is people investing in hardware and infrastructure, software and consulting to be able to meet the needs of their businesses moving forward. But for the first time in a long time, we're going to see businesses and IT managers and CTOs looking at IT as a business value. And with the ability of software as a service or platform as a service or infrastructure as a service, we're going to see businesses actually using IT to be able to bring value to the business moving forward. And that's going to be a critical component insofar as customers understanding how to use IT to maximize the benefits of the business.
What is the cooperation between CERN and Intel all about?
We have a tremendous partnership and relationship with CERN. As you may know, CERN is conducting one of the most famous and complex experiments in the world today. And as a result, due to that complexity of their particular project and initiatives here, they require a significant amount of resource. And part of that resource, obviously, is the technology. And the technology that they're using sort of underpins their ability to be able to conduct their experiment and their projects, to be able to fulfill and understand the particle physics experiments that are happening within CERN. So from that perspective, the amount of data that is consumed with their projects is actually requiring a significant amount of performance requirement, and their ability to be able to implement grid computing solutions is fundamental to succeeding in the project. So they're working with us and a number of other partners to be able to take the latest of Intel technology and adopt it and embrace it to actually help them achieve their goals.
What does Intel get from this cooperation?
Well, obviously from this particular type of project, they will put significant stresses and strains on the technology, because their demand for massive computing capability will always just be at the outer limits. And as a result, we've got this excellent cooperation where they give us feedback on, we'll say, particular areas and where we can improve on the technology. So there's this excellent cooperation of us understanding how our technology is used to its maximum, and thus as a result we take that back into our labs, and it helps with our R&D to be able to improve upon our technology and then deliver it to the broad business population.
What is the benefit of cloud? Who does it help? And what would you like Intel to do in this regard?
So cloud computing can be very important for many organizations, because it can allow a much more flexible approach to computing, so that, for instance, you can better distribute work across an internal private cloud, or you could go outside your own organization and benefit from public clouds. So it all points to a much more flexible, much more dynamic way of doing computing.
And what does CERN provide in terms of cloud computing?
So currently we are doing extensive tests to exactly demonstrate internally the increased flexibility that we could achieve by using cloud computing. So we have several test setups that are established to show, for instance, scalability issues, reliability issues, and so on.
Talking about cloud computing, of course, a standardization is needed. What's your opinion about that?
So standardization is very important, because the world will only use public clouds if there is enough standardization so that everybody can, for instance, trust the cloud and use authentication and authorization that is standardized across the cloud, because otherwise one would either just use a niche approach where every cloud would be different, and therefore people would be locked into only one supplier of cloud computing, and it's clearly not in people's interests. Let me just add that what we would like to see Intel do in the world of cloud computing is to standardize the hardware so that it is fully cloud enabled. This means, for instance, adding good support for security, because security is paramount, and we really want a platform that is 100% reliable. You can rely on the encryption, for instance. You can rely on the security of the BIOS and the fundamental setup of the system, and so on.
Intel, like many other IT vendors, propagates the vision of cloud computing. Can you please describe Intel's vision here?
Well, our vision is very expansive and really incorporates the whole industry, not just servers and clients, but also embedded devices. And we envision a world where the cloud is federated, meaning the resources can be shared seamlessly across private and public clouds, where it's automated, meaning that there's not manual intervention, that things can be driven by policy, and where it's client aware, where the devices that consumers are using or businesses are using can be used to their maximum effectiveness for the best user experience, rather than degrading to the lowest common denominator.
And what do you see as challenges for companies?
Well, clearly, the challenges of getting to the true cloud architecture are significant. They include things like security. How can you make sure that as you transition data from private and public clouds and between resources that the data is secured and that people aren't compromised? There's also a lot of challenges with scale and energy efficiency. How do you drive down the cost and increase the efficiency? And finally, there's a lot of challenges with interoperability. How do you get the various technologies to work together so that you can truly have a seamless cloud?
How can Intel help?
Well, Intel has a long history of tackling these tough challenges, and we really do it in three ways. First, with our products. We build in the capabilities into our products and get them distributed ubiquitously in the industry. For example, we've embedded virtualization and security technologies into the current family of Xeon. Second, we work on industry standards, open industry standards. We've been involved with standards from things like Ethernet and the PCI bus and the USB bus, and we'll continue that in the data center. And finally, we have a history of bringing the industry together to tackle the big challenges in lockstep. And that's one of the reasons the Open Data Center Alliance invited us to be a technical advisor and help form the organization.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Open Data Center Alliance?
Well, the Open Data Center Alliance is a group of large IT end users who have gotten together to establish the requirements for developing the capabilities they need to do to get to the cloud. It's entirely comprised of IT end users. And they invited Intel to help form the group because of our track record of bringing the industry together and because we are a technical advisor relative to setting those market requirements. We're, of course, not a voting member. We're just an advisor to the group because this is really the voice of the end user, helping the industry understand exactly what they need to implement the cloud.
Could you provide us with some insights into the fascinating research CERN openlab is undertaking and explain how your collaboration with Intel is facilitating these goals?
CERN openlab has been put into place about 8 years ago, and the aim of CERN openlab is to provide leading edge technology and to research and test leading edge technology provided by our partners. Intel is one of these partners. And what we do is actually we tell the companies, you make it, we break it. And this way we are getting actually very early the latest technologies, let it be hardware or different software solutions, and we test them in our rather complex environment. And based on these results, of course, we give the feedback to the companies. And surely we always find in the early stage some weaknesses, which is totally normal. And we follow the principle, whenever we find something problematic, we tell the company. And if we find something good, which we often do, we tell everybody.
Tell us about the Open Data Center Alliance. What is CERN's role with regard to the ODCA?
Well, when we were approached recently to join the Open Data Center Alliance, we thought this is exactly the right approach. And because CERN has been working for many years on software solutions which are open, and we really like the idea to be vendor independent. Our contribution to the Open Data Center Alliance would be in the domain of authentication and authorization. These are techniques that we have developed over the last 8 years while preparing for the worldwide LHC computing that we need to do to interlink something like 140 data centers. So you cannot imagine that you would go and have a password and a login at every of these data centers. So this is the kind of technology we need to bring into the cloud computing, which today's solutions do not have yet. So we would like to make sure that we can bring this as one of our contributions, and we would like to join working groups addressing these issues.
Could you give an update on how Intel and CERN are continuing to work together to evaluate and roll out increasingly faster and more energy efficient multi-core processors to run the LHC?
CERN, like many other institutes, have the problem of dealing with the electrical power consumption in the data center. We have hit the limit of 3 megawatts about 2 years ago, and we thought we really have to go off and build a new one. Actually, thanks to the power efficient solutions that we got from Intel, we managed to delay this decision, and actually we may not even need to build a new data center, depending how fast we can actually make the turnaround and get rid of the older, more power-hungry solutions that we had installed so far. So we continue, of course, to evaluate all the latest and greatest which is coming out to make sure we get a grip of how we can optimize both our software, the performance of the machines, and the usage of these new technologies to make sure we can stay at the leading edge and try to stay within the power envelope that we've got, and provide growth at the same time.
What is the Open Data Center Alliance all about?
The Open Data Center Alliance is a group of like-minded enterprise end users and also service providers that like and promote the idea of an open data center.
Why is it an important initiative?
Data centers and cloud solutions should be multi-vendor, interoperable, based on industry standards and delivering best-of-breed technologies and not sacrificing flexibility and choice.
Why did BMW decide to join the Alliance, and what role is BMW playing within the Alliance?
BMW likes the idea of an open data center alliance. We work together with our colleagues and end users in huge enterprises and also some vendors to develop the roadmap for this open data center alliance. Our role in the Open Data Center Alliance is we are part of the steering committee, we are a member of the board, and we developed together with our colleagues this idea.
What is Intel's role with regards to the Open Data Center Alliance?
Intel's role with regards to the Open Data Center Alliance. A lot of our end customers came to us and said, can you help us set up an alliance and bring together a group of like-minded customers to focus on driving, on defining the business challenges that industry faces in moving towards the cloud. A lot of IT organizations want to go in this direction, but are challenged with going back to the vendors and saying, look, this is what we need from you. So the Alliance wants to come together, it wants to define and document what their business needs are, so as a concerted mass they can go back to the supply chain, to the IT supply chain, their vendors, and say, look, this is what we need in order to be able to move forward. What we did, we have a lot of experience in terms of helping set up industry alliances through the PCI SIG we've done in the past, through USB, through Wi-Fi, etc. So we use our experience to help them form, and we worked with our customers that we talked on a regular basis to help them understand what the Alliance was trying to do and bring them into the Alliance to help form the group initially.
So what is the technical liaison role all about?
So within the Open Data Center Alliance, Intel has a technical liaison role. We work with the steering committee and the members of the Alliance to help them set direction, to liaise with the other parts of the organisation, the other parts of the industry, and also to help their meetings move forward and to help the flow of the organisation. I think one of the challenges with a lot of organisations is actually keeping momentum and keeping focus here. So Intel is going to assist in terms of helping the organisation in the documentation, the work they're doing. We'll participate in, or we'll contribute to the work groups that they're working on, but we will not have a position to ratify or to vote on the output of the work groups. That will come purely down to the members themselves.
Can you explain Cloud Builder Programme and how it fits with the work of the Open Data Center Alliance?
The Open Data Center Alliance is going to publish a roadmap of business usage models. These will define the challenges they face in terms of moving towards the cloud. What Intel is going to do is we're going to take this roadmap and we're going to work with our ecosystem partners, our ISVs and our MNCs or our OEMs, and we've created a program that we call Intel Cloud Builders Program. Through this program, we will create reference architectures that solve the specific use cases that the Open Data Center Alliance is defining. So if they define an issue of how do I move virtual machines from my data center to the cloud, right, and do it in a secure fashion, they'll write it as the business problem that they have. What we'll do is through the Cloud Builders Program, we'll align a set of OEMs and a set of ISVs to actually create a documented solution to that business problem. And then we'll make that available through our website and through our partners' websites so that the end customers can actually take that and use that as a building block to create their cloud implementations in the future.